Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Today we will be discussing about ordinances and covenants. Okay. Let's start with the first question. Why does Heavenly Father use covenants and ordinances to structure our relationship? So, based on my understanding, covenants are like a promise to God. It's a promise that we are going to come back to His presence. Covenants are also a guiding path. It's a guiding path for us to, whenever we make mistakes or sway from the path, the covenants that we made are reminders for us to come back to that path and realign ourselves to that. Do you have any answer to that?
No, I think that's a really good answer. I think that's perfect.
Okay. Let us answer the second question. What are the covenants of salvation and exaltation? Why do we always make them with an ordinance?
Baptism, confirmation, initiatory, endowment, and sealing. Those are the 5 saving ordinances. But I think apart from that is partaking of the sacrament weekly. That's another ordinance that, is also part of the necessary steps. And what was the other question? Why do we
always make them with an ordinance?
Oh, okay. So what are the covenants of salvation and exaltation? Really? I think we always do that because, one of the hardest things to do, and it's like mentioned in the scriptures so many times, it's remember ye, So it's just like that constant reminder that we need to, be reminded every single week of our covenants. Otherwise, it's easy to get casual, it's easy to forget, it's easy to just do many other things rather than prioritizing those things.
I love that. Why do we always make them with an ordinance? I would like to answer that question. It's because whatever that will be binded on earth will be binded to heaven. Simple answer. Okay, what is the power of godliness? How is it manifest in the ordinances and covenants of the Melchizedek priesthood? This is an interesting question. Power of godliness, by definition, from what I understand, it is the standard of how God works. And the power of godliness comes when we walk on that path, which is doing what would Heavenly Father or Jesus Christ do in this moment. And so the power of godliness will influence our decisions, our choices in life. We'll be able to have the Spirit. Those are just some of the powers or the influence that comes when the power of godliness. How is it manifest in the ordinances and covenants of the Melchizedek priesthood? Well, it manifests through, blessing, blessing the sick and afflicted. Whenever we do those kind of ordinance, we bless people, we give them authority, we pass the authority. The power of godliness comes because it's working within those things.
I like that. I think what I would like to add to that question about what is the power of godliness, I think when I think of God and his power, I think of how he has all power and how he has all knowledge, he is all knowing, and how he created worlds, like how he has created so many different things, including us. I think that his power is infinite, and it's manifest through the ordinances of the Melchizedek priesthood, because God had this plan of salvation. He created that plan. He used his godliness to create that plan. And through that plan, part of that plan are the Melchizedek, blessings and priesthood. So I think that it's manifest through those things because God has the power to keep his promises. Anything that he says he will do, he is bound if we keep his promises. So he offers his blessings, and that's how it's manifest through those things.
Okay, next question. How do our covenants influence our relationships with others, both those who have also made these covenants and those who have not? Well, my answer here is covenants in the temple helps us understand that we have the responsibility to bear one another's burdens day in day. And to those who are not covenant keepers, we are influencing them by helping them realize that the covenants that we made in the temple are helping us do those things. And we are trying to be unprofitable servants, and we are trying to be the servants that the Lord wants us to be.
I think that, what's the question again?
The question is, how do our covenants influence our relationship with others?
I think that our covenants influence our relationship with others in every aspect. I think that once you are making a covenant with Heavenly Father, you are automatically held to a higher standard. And you should be different from everybody else. You should sound different, you should look different, you should act different. In every part of our life, we are different. So there's a clear difference to me between those who have made covenants with Heavenly Father, those who have made covenants with Heavenly Father and don't keep them, and then those who have not made covenants with Heavenly Father. So I would say that it can kind of go two ways, or three, like I just mentioned. Like those who are faithful and continually strive, and those who keep their covenants with Heavenly Father, who are faithful, and those who have made covenants with Heavenly Father, and those who blatantly choose not to. And I kind of think about that a lot, especially for those people who I know have, served missions, they have been serving the temple, and they may not be following the covenant path at this point. So it's like they're kind of taking on that role of those people who have not made covenants with Heavenly Father. So it's like bringing back what I said earlier about remembering, that's also part of it. Like people really need to be reminded, and we really need to know that they're held to a higher standard, and therefore they should act different. Their relationships with other people should be different. And what's the second part?
Both those who have also made these covenants and those who have not.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you. I like those answers. Last question for today. How do the covenants and ordinances of salvation and exaltation influence your leadership? Well, it's pretty easy, because if you understand how covenant works, just like what I said, it reminds you, it brings you back to the path that the Lord wants you to be. And salvation and exaltation, which is to, by definition, is if we keep the commandments and the covenants that we made here on earth, we would be able to receive salvation. Salvation, we receive that because of the atonement of Jesus Christ. All of us are saved, if I'm not mistaken.
All of us have the opportunity to be saved. So yes, we are saved from physical death, but not everybody will be, they will not all have the same opportunity in the afterlife.
But all of us will receive the body.
All of us will be resurrected.
Resurrected.
That is correct. But due to your choices here on earth, it's like what the prophet Russell Nelson said. Like wherever you would feel comfortable, that's where you will dwell.
Oh yeah. Thank you for helping me define salvation. Well, it will influence your leadership if you understand those things, because you will have the purpose. You will have the purpose in life. Because if you don't have a purpose, your plans will be swayed by some other people in your steward. And if you are appointed to be a leader, you should lead with purpose. You should always align the principles that you are teaching as a leader in those things. Covenants, we help people, we mourn with them, we care for them. Salvation, we don't do dumb things. So that when it comes to the judgment day, we are going to be confident facing God. Exaltation, we have covenants that we need to keep. And if we align those things as a leader, we'll be good leaders.
Thank you. I definitely agree. I think that is an essential part of being a leader, especially a leader within the church. I think that your covenants back you up. Your covenants are your backbone. Like that is the structure for everything. That there is no power behind what you're saying or what you're doing without your covenants, because then you would not be able to exercise Heavenly Father's power. It's like you are nothing without your covenants.
I like how you use that word backbone. That's actually the term that we should be using. It's the backbone of me. Okay, that's the last question. We will come back next week for more. Again, this is Matt, and this is my wife.
Mahua.
See you on the next episode.